In the shadows of history, some villains have evaded justice, their identities forever shrouded in mystery. From the cryptic Zodiac Killer to the enigmatic D.B. Cooper, join us as we delve into the chilling world of villains who vanished into thin air, leaving behind mysteries that still haunt us. This is Villains Who Were Never Caught. Our first villain is a name that sends chills down the spine: Jack the Ripper. A spectre in the night of 1888's London. Nestled in the grimy corners of Whitechapel, his crimes unfolded, leaving the city gripped in terror. 5 gruesome murders, all women, all within a few streets of each other. The brutality of these acts was unmatched, sparking a media frenzy that reverberates to this day. The Ripper is believed to have killed at least 5 women, all of whom were prostitutes. The victims were Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. His victims were not just killed, they were mutilated in ways that suggested the killer had a surgical precision, or at least a sick fascination with anatomy. Letters were sent to the police, taunting them, claiming responsibility, adding to the growing panic. Numerous theories about the Ripper's identity have been spun over the years. Was he a butcher, a doctor, a member of the royal family? The list of suspects is long, the evidence scant. There have been several suspects who, at various times, have been considered more likely candidates by law enforcement officials. Some of them are Aaron Kosminski, Montague John Druitt, Francis Tumblety, James Maybrick. We will have a more thorough episode in detail about these suspects at another time. Yet despite the infamy of his crimes, Jack the Ripper's true identity remains hidden, a phantom lost in the fog of history. Next, we turn to the 1960s California, where the Zodiac Killer conducted his reign of terror. In the midst of the peace and love era, a sinister force was at play. A man known only as the Zodiac Killer was leaving a trail of victims in his wake. The Zodiac's known murders occurred between December 1968 and October 1969, although he claimed to have committed 37 murders in total. The authenticity of these claims remains unverified. The Zodiac is officially linked to 5 murders and 2 attempted murders, although he claimed more. The confirmed victims are David Arthur Faraday, Betty Lou Jensen, Darlene Elizabeth Ferrin, Michael Renaud Margot survived, Brian Calvin Hartnell survived, Cecilia Ann Shepard and Paul Lee Stein. His most preferred method of killing was using a handgun and a knife. His attacks seemed opportunistic and targeted young couples in secluded areas, except for the murder of a taxi driver, Paul Stein, in San Francisco. The Zodiac Killer was not just a murderer, he was a master manipulator, taunting law enforcement with cryptic messages, ciphers and chilling phone calls. His letters, filled with strange symbols and coded messages, were a nightmare for investigators. Of the 4 cryptograms sent, only 1 was definitively solved, revealing a disturbing message but no clues to the Zodiac's identity. The others remain partially solved or unsolved, contributing to the mystery and fascination surrounding the case. The case is still open in some jurisdictions, and advancements in forensic science, particularly DNA technology, have given hope that the case may eventually be solved. The Zodiac Killer, a cipher unsolved, a villain who vanished into the ether. From the blood-stained streets to the open skies, we next encounter D.B. Cooper, the airborne hijacker who vanished without a trace. Notorious for his audacity, Cooper hijacked a Boeing 727 mid-flight, somewhere between Portland and Seattle in 1971. With a bomb threat, he commanded the crew's obedience, making a chilling demand for $200,000 in ransom, a hefty sum in those days. After landing in Seattle, Cooper traded the passengers for the ransom money and parachutes. Then, he ordered the plane back into the air, bound for Mexico. In the midst of a thunderstorm, Cooper did the unthinkable. He leapt into the darkness, with the stolen money strapped to his body, never to be seen again. Over the years, several suspects have been considered, though none have been definitively proven to be Cooper. Richard Floyd McCoy Jr., Kenneth Peter Christiansen, Dwayne L. Weber, Barbara Dayton, Robert Rackstraw and Lynn Doyle Cooper are to name some, but we will talk about them in detail in another episode. Despite extensive manhunts and investigations, D.B. Cooper slipped through the fingers of law enforcement. His identity and fate remain unknown to this day. In the end, all that was left was a name, a mystery, and a legend: D.B. Cooper. Finally, we delve into the heart of 1970s Michigan, where the Babysitter Killer, also known as the Oakland County Child Killer, left a chilling legacy. This ominous figure lurks in the annals of true crime, a phantom whose deeds still echo through the decades. Over a span of 13 months, 4 children were ruthlessly abducted, their lives snuffed out far too soon. Some of the known victims of the Babysitter Killer were Mark Stebbins, 12 years old, disappeared in February 1976 and was found 4 days later. He had been strangled and sexually assaulted. Jill Robinson, 12 years old, disappeared in December 1976 and was found 4 days later. She had been killed by a shotgun blast to the face. Christine Mierlich, 10 years old, disappeared in January 1977 and was found 19 days later. She had been suffocated. Timothy King, 11 years old, disappeared in March 1977 and was found 6 days later. He had been suffocated and sexually assaulted. The community was held in a grip of paralyzing fear, every parent's worst nightmare unfolding in their backyard. Despite the tireless efforts of law enforcement, the Babysitter Killer remained elusive, slipping through the cracks of justice. The case, now decades old, remains open. Advances in DNA testing led to renewed interest in the case in the 2000s. In 2012, new DNA evidence was reportedly found linking the hairs found on the bodies to a known pedophile. But this lead did not conclusively solve the case. The search for answers continues, fueled by a relentless quest for justice and closure. The Babysitter Killer, an embodiment of evil, is a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unsuspecting places. The Babysitter Killer, a grim reminder that some villains remain hidden, their secrets locked away in the shadows. As we close the chapter on these elusive villains who slipped through the fingers of justice, the mysteries they left behind continue to stir our deepest curiosities. The tales of the unknown and the uncaught remind us that some stories don't have a clear end. If these unsolved enigmas have captured your imagination, don't let the trail go cold now. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to join us on more journeys into the world of mystery and suspense. From the darkest corners of history to the modern-day puzzles, our channel is your gateway to the unexplained and the unforgettable. Gear up for more heart-pounding, mind-bending stories that await in our next episodes. Your likes, comments and subscriptions help keep this Mysterioso alive. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your curiosity ignited. You never know what secrets lie just around the corner.